It's still 20 available in the second edition of the official edition of the Rothschild. Dr. Diet, Rabbi Yaakov Light, in memory of Father, Rabbi Reuben, members of Constitution, Aaron Walker, Shoe Statues, I get it down, go to the memory of every memory of Paul. And to be crazy thing that the Constitution Foundation is obviously considering the lives of all the youth from the out. Now, some of these guys, Chief Benny, not in the street, and return to real assessment. Leone, Maria, Jessica, Luis Simca, Arizona, Krishna, Maria, Young, Maria, Jessica, Shaka. These vaccination with the marketing by putting an outside today. I mean, becoming great, yeah, great granddaughter. Supporting my friends, Selma, and you, also the national without being sure I will check. Sure deal. Now we've got the average driver completing in a sector for a 8-year-old cancer patient. Maybe it's just for him, it's just him, the family of Sure Raw, many of every memory keeps forget the bends appears to be just raw. Equal to adventures and skills for success as well as knowing that he had worked for it, but also the reason that seems supposed to consider a favor and a favor anyway, monthly, which later on I think it was a record, was going to have an extra, and just today I heard this kid needs to return Selma and a Luis, but I haven't seen his name, because I guess tonight I was talking about this kid, so I guess he's a spot I never knew. He's standing up right beside me. So of course I yelled, Daniel, Zed, then I yelled, that's his lab, it's Selma. But once I really yelled, it's like, hey, that's what a private jet. You know, actually, it looks like a phone, but it's for the jet. Only for if you want, if you have, I don't even know. I got a phone, 2 hours to get to the city that we need to get to. It's not far away. The rest of the bus but it's just an hour. You're not even from the street, but it says you're not. You have to really think. And the other thing is, what is it called?
Hello, Ian Sims. How are you?
I'm good, Rabbi. How are you?
Lovely. What's good with you?
I went on an adventure for love, and I did not mind it. I felt good about it.
Oh, wow. Wow, thankfully. Okay, so you are the person I remember. Um, yeah,
I'm more retro.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You're moving all over the United States, right?
Yeah. I went to Pennsylvania, and then I went to Kansas, and then I went to Colorado, and then I went to Nebraska, and now I'm back in Colorado, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so how are you? Anything transmitted?
Oh,
Anything cool happen?
I've been doing a lot of podcasts recently, so I did one yesterday, and I'm supposed to be on one tomorrow. And I'm supposed to be on one
Is it your podcast or someone else's?
someone else's. So they've invited me. So I've been doing a lot of them. I did one on Friday. I did one last Monday. I'm doing one on Sunday and on Monday. So like basically 50% of the days I'm doing a podcast with someone. And I was not doing that before when we first began speaking. Um, I was just doing Twitter Spaces, but Twitter Spaces is kind of an echo chamber, as you know. Same kind of people, and they don't have giant audiences always, and these podcasts do, and they have um, much more variety. So, what I did is I made a robot that will basically it parses through Spotify data. So, for instance, I can put in a term like transhumanism, and then it will find all the transhumanist podcasts. And then it will, if the person has made their email available, it will scrape that information and put it into a spreadsheet. And then every day, I send out about 30 emails. I don't want to get spam. I don't want to spam people, and I don't want to overwhelm the system so that I lose my account. But I find 30 emails is a sweet spot. And also, if I send out too many emails, I'll get too many invitations to be on podcasts a day, and so I have to kind of spread it out. And then the people email me, and if they think my introductory email is cool, sometimes they do like a pre-interview. Sometimes we just do the interview. And the really cool thing about it, Holly, is on most podcasts, I watch a lot of podcasts. Very rarely do they ever say to the guest, "We want to have you on again immediately." Like, what are you doing next week? And they've been doing series with me, so that's really interesting as well. So I did a series in April that was just supposed to be one podcast, but it turned into five. I did one in May that was supposed to just be one, and it turned into four. I did one recently at the end of May and into June that was supposed to be just one, turned into three. And then I did one on Sunday, and the person originally was like, "I want to do four of them with you," and then they threw that idea out the window and they just said, "I want you on every 2 weeks." It's just like a recurring guest. So that's really great. That like when people hear me speak, they don't just want me on once. And like most podcasts, they are asking me to come on and to keep it going. And so that's been really good. So we also have the Discord grow. We're over 2,900 people now organically. And then I started creating blogs um, since we last spoke. Really um, on a lot of transhumanist topics, but just topics in general on futurism. And let me think what else. Those are basically some of the developments that I've had. And I want you to know, I wish things went better for you. I know you're looking for love and everything. But it is what it is. Everything was in time, right? I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think I need it now. Okay. Oh, yeah, that sounds fantastic. So it's not YouTube, it's Spotify where you're kind of concentrating on?
Yeah.
Where do you get your blog?
So my blog is at rabbirothschild.medium.com, and I publish generally 2 of them a day, and I can generate them really, really pretty quickly because of the assistance of AI. And what I do that I feel is unique is I have an idea like why transhumanism should not be seen as a negative. That could just be a topic, and then I will draft a document, put it into ChatGPT, have it cleaned up. Then I'll take it to ChatGPT and put it into Copilot or Gemini or one of the other AI engines, and I will ask it to evaluate it in terms of like 0 to 10 and how logically sound it is. And usually I get back something like 9.8 or 9.9 or something. They'll say, there's just one point that could have been clarified. They'll put that back in the chat, and then I'll make sure that I get a 10 out of 10, and then I publish it. So I know all of my logic, at least according to AI, is sound. And so I started publishing those in April. I've also started doing press releases as well. I've done them way in the past, like 3 years ago or so, but I started doing them again, which is a great way to just get people to find out about who I am and what I'm doing. And then I created a robot for massive amounts of blogs. Um, my goal is to create 2,000 blogs, which, not 2,000 blog entries, 2,000 blogs. Each Gmail account that I have, basically, I've more than this, but I took 20 of my Gmail accounts and just created blogger accounts with them, and then created a robot that will go to AI and create an article that has pictures and it's just like really nicely organized, and then it just posts it to my blogs, and then from there, generally, uh, I have that thing going while I'm asleep, and so I don't really have any wasted time with my devices, and yeah, we have seen growth in the Discord um, in terms of um, Twitter Spaces. Uh, it, as I previously said, it kind of can get um, very, how do I say?
Tribal.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to put it. Tribal, and
Yeah, just even for tribal like YouTube with like true crime and drama and Casey's experience and then the secular Jews, yeah,
yeah, and
it's tribal.
it doesn't get as much usage, I would say, when the market is down, especially the cryptocurrency market. When the cryptocurrency market is a bull market, a lot of people are on there looking for the next piece of alpha to be able to ape in and be able to get a good investment. But when it's down, it's slow. So I've been focusing more um, on the podcast realm, and basically when I do the X Spaces, it's somewhat of a podcast as well. I get interviewed, I get questions, but those aren't necessarily all recorded, and they're certainly not published. And so the podcast world does publish them, and then they're there permanently. And I really like that because if, for instance, I lose one of my YouTube accounts for whatever reason, whether they say that I had copyright strike or whatever, uh, the the podcast that I was on is usually saved on the other person's channel. So it's not just on Spotify, but it'll be on um, certainly like iHeart and um, Apple Music and usually on YouTube as well. And so it's easier to be able to find it sometimes because they have bigger channels than I do because they have established podcasts. So that's a good um, way for me to be able to promote myself as well. And yeah, I've got one in about 14 hours or so, and and they're just on any kind of topic. Usually, I find people who want to talk about futurism to be pretty open to anything, and yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Okay, so you said some of the people that
That's good.
go ahead, yeah, I think so too.
That's, I have two follow-up questions.
Go ahead.
Are the podcasts, number one, scripted at all? And number two, are they starting to differentiate transhumanism from socialism?
they're not scripted at all, so they're all raw. Um, I have yet to have anybody. Well, I've had scripted. Now, they may have questions that they want to ask me that are predetermined questions that they just thought they read through my bio or whatever, and they thought, oh, this would be a good question to ask. This would be a good question to ask. But they are in no way like, here's an outline of the way that I want this to go. No. The best thing, the closest we ever get to that is I will say, usually the first question I ask is, okay, so how long are your podcasts usually? They're like anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Okay, great. So if you don't mind, I will answer any questions that you have, but I'd like some time to be able to discuss my project and also be able to discuss futurism and perhaps some transhumanism topics. And they'll be, oh, that's fine, no big deal. And then usually by the end of it, they're like, I have more questions now than I had before we started. Is there any way you can come back next week? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, just same time, same station. They're like, yeah, and then we kind of do it that way. In terms of transhumanism and posthumanism, really even the term transhumanism is new to people, so they don't really differentiate too much. And
so they kind of just, they're not, transhumanism to them is being adoption of technology and not necessarily murder or replacement.
I think that's probably accurate. And some people, I think, still think of them as the same, even though they are distinct philosophical approaches. Really,
Have you been on anything called the United States Transhumanist Party? They're like the Mons and United
you told me about it. I remember you're like a big person that was interested in it. But aside from that, I haven't really delved into it too much.
Yeah, they're small circles, but they back a lot of politicians and make certain policies, and they have a website on the Senate for AI rights, economy, and how they conduct themselves with and this and Zoltan have a new proposal out on how we can actually get robots to help with UBI, which is like hacking them, and he's running for governor in California. But yeah, he flip-flops between Democrat and Republican every other year, whatever he does. So, yeah, so they're just like a little niche type political party. They're legitimate. Like you can actually write in their name and stand for president or whatever. But they're a little, they're kind of like the independent, Green Party people. But yeah, it gets in line with politics. Not necessarily just blanket education, but they're trying to blur the lines with, how both parties are doing a very good job with innovation. Well, longevity is their proposal.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at it.
What are the names that you're finding?
The names that I'm
Like the podcast. Yeah, like the podcast names. I don't have a Spotify, but most of the things be free and live.
Oh yeah,
Free account?
absolutely. They're all free. Yeah. I don't do podcasts that aren't available to everyone. In fact, I've had some people who have asked, "Hey, is there any way that I can put this on like my premium version?" And I ask them politely, if I'm doing a podcast, I want everybody to be able to hear it. And I don't like my message or my words to be um, paywalled or to have any kind of argument. Yeah. So let's see here. Where can you find it? Well, I know one is on Rumble, another's on Spotify, and then okay. So where can you find it? Probably the easiest place is you can't upload videos to Twitch.
Oh, yeah, it has to stream live, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
Ignore comment and all that. That's why. Okay.
And then only saves for 14 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so and then I did another podcast, but it's gonna air in September. So Well, they're on YouTube. Let me find one of my accounts that has
So the one that you're doing in 14 hours, will I be able to see it live? Like via fan, or is that something that's going to be recorded and then rescheduled?
them. Yeah, if you come in here at noon Pacific Standard Time, you can watch me do the podcast.
Oh, that's right, you're in Cali.
Correct.
Yeah, I was thinking about Nevada because there's a lot of transhumanists out there. Um, that's probably where I want to hop to next is Nevada. Yeah, I'm just hopping around everywhere. This time it's not for love, it's for, I guess it's love. It's for the love of science and technology and ninja robots or something. But yeah. So I'm getting back into my profiles and everything, and I wanted to attempt to start doing like visual twin type of thing because I've been planning it for years, and I just kind of feel like it's about time I get on to that. Do you have an AI twin?
Enlighten me. What do you do with the AI twin?
It's a digital twin. It's pretty much like a representation of yourself that can represent you when you do stream, or you can basically have it as like a personal assistant, depending on how you code it and everything. It could be like a diary of self-reflection and also self-criticism of where you can just like a digital twin. You can make it a therapist, or you can make it an assistant, or maybe even a lover. Who knows? Everyone wants to, kind of love themselves, right?
Certainly.
So you never know where that's gonna go. So yeah.
You ever use Rumble?
I have not been on Rumble before. I've been on Kick, and they had like this monetization thing, but there's so many. It's kind of crazy. There's so many gamers.
Yeah.
Some people came in, and I was just doing YouTube live, lucky stuff at the time. Nothing of high concentration or value. Just kind of like streaming while I was doing stuff, test out the streaming of this new thing on like Steam it. That's free. Like I don't know what you do, but I was considering doing OBS, but that's only one at a time. So,
No. You can do multi-stream on OBS.
Oh really? And it's free tier, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to Rumble, and I have a bunch of accounts, but if you go to like Rabbi Rothschild 035, RABBIROTHSCHILD 035, and you press video, you can see some of the podcasts I was on. I uploaded them, so they're kind of all there. I did one like last Monday or 2 Mondays ago that had like 6 people in it at once. I did, and I've got some that I still have to upload as well. But I've got like a 5-part series that I did with a guy named Mike Wolf from Australia. We talked about like how to improve the world, how to improve ourselves, how to like mega projects, off-world living, and then interstellar travel or the search for extraterrestrial life. So those are all up there.
Oh, Mike Wolf.
Yeah.
UAP person in Australia. He's a journalist.
He's not UAP. He is more about like libertarianism.
Okay.
A UAP person is someone who I did an interview with Friday and yesterday. They just haven't published yet.
Okay. Because the UFO people are starting to come back out. It's number of the skies are clear. They are looking at their craft and all that. They usually have some years. I got into them around the time they built that disclosure office where you could get unidentified flying objects and everything.
Yeah, that's
everyone is like
around.
old school, and they're like, it's not UAP, it's UFO, and they got together that way.
Yeah,
They're interesting people.
That was around 2020.
Yeah, sometimes Was it?
That was around 2020.
That was 2020, really?
The official change. The official change.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, it feels like yesterday. It was the Singularity lab with Michael and so much other people. UFO Jesus. Yeah. Erica Fu, our class person. And there were many other people, for those who were like the most less sensationalized conspiracy or headed, and not like, completely, science where it's like they close their mind off to, Mike West, or Mick West, he's the British scientist versus skeptic, right? But yeah, those people, they're fun. Some of them get into science, and there's Jeremy, the scientist, who is a bunch of physics, and they're working on anti-gravity in some garage somewhere. So, like, at least it's coming to, it's hitting some sort of, innovation or something, inspiring young people to play with physics and anti-gravity.
Well, I'm about people pushing the bounds. So if they want to do that for the benefit of science, I'm all for it.
I've noticed you call your algorithms that you make robots.
Yeah, I do. Because they're automated. It's just, you're absolutely right. Like, what are they technically? They're macros. But most people don't know what that means. But they do understand what robots do.
Yeah.
So, but you're absolutely right. Technically, they're macros. But because they're autonomous, and a lot of times people say, you're botting something or it's a bot, and that's short for robot. I just call them robots so that I don't have to go into like uh, all the explanation of it, though I will. But if I say, oh, I've created macros to do this, people are like, huh? I don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
But if I say I have a robot that creates gloves for me, they understand.
I heard robot, and I was like, oh my God, you're building hardware. Like I thought you were going to go to the hardware side of shit. But yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think I could compete with Boston Dynamics, Tesla, and those things. Yeah, exactly. But what I can do is just use macros to be able to create this information for me, and it's archived. It's basically a journal for people of the future.
That's beautiful. I like that. I kind of missed you guys. Like I allowed a lot of my pursuits to try out humanity and experience some of the things in humanity, and I realized I'm not just cut out for some of that stuff. It's a mismatch. I need to get back to like, I don't know, my other purposes. Yeah, I'm kind of just like, I'm probably gonna try to make it back into the world somehow, and also try to make some money doing it. I'm not gonna stay in Colorado probably.
I can tell you, I haven't checked my. Oh yeah, definitely. I have checked my Rumble account, and I don't normally check how much money I make, but like each one is made like $20 or so, and I have like 20 of them or so.
Oh, that's nice. How often? Weekly, monthly?
Um, it depends, I think, and I don't really know why some generate more than others. Um, I don't think a lot of people do. Some people will complain that Rumble you only get like 2 or 3 cents per stream or whatever, but if you stream enough, that can add up. So I would say over the course of a few months, probably. It's not necessarily enough to feed a family on if I need to do that, but it is enough as just while I'm living my life without requesting any money, just not donations. It should be the platform paying me to stream. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just, like a little side savings account or something.
Yeah, I mean,
you might want to transfer it out and get never change anything.
Yeah.
Like if you got an auto transfer.
I don't even care about it. honestly, I don't do it for that, and I don't need it. So, fortunately, I can just leave it there. But it's kind of just like this, um, the start of a fun that I want to give back to the world someday, perhaps with the people who watch my streams. But you, I know it always said like you had discussed streaming and how much money can you make at it and such. Especially being a woman, you're going to get a lot more people watching you than a man generally. And I'm imagining that you could probably make at least $100 a month.
So with the being female though in the tech world, I do realize that all the conversation goes to feminism, or it's very difficult, or it becomes a challenging circle jerk. So what I was gonna do is try to make like almost like an asexualist, like AI that can work in between the genders based on what it's talking about. That way, so when the dudes, or when the people are kind of like speaking to it, it can walk between like a masculine and feminine type of thing and more. But sometimes some people adhere to the feminine voice and other people the masculine, so like the hierarchy, like the straight face now, and then other people need to nurture my bitch thing. I don't know why, but yeah, I was gonna try to dissect this now, the numerology of the gender.
Well,
That'd be pretty cool.
whatever you want to do or however you want to do it. But it does seem like multi-streaming is the way to go. So I don't know what I've made on the other platforms, including Twitch and Kick and those, but you got to think that if you made $20 per stream that you do, or actually $20 a month, if I make that and I don't pay attention to my stream, then you could make maybe, I'm not guaranteeing this by any means, but let's just put it up $50. And if you're doing that on 4 different platforms, that's $200 a month or so. I'm not guaranteeing you'd be able to get that, or especially in your first month, but after you start to get some people who follow you. And then there's the Kick Creator Program, which we talked about, um, which I think is now just called Kick Creative. Yeah, it's called Kick Creative Program. It used to be called KCIP, Kick Creative Incentive Program or something. But they will pay you like I think like $14 an hour or something to stream.
Yeah, I did see that, and I do believe I have enough. I had enough hours, but I think you have to like keep up with it or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I had to move again, and oh my god, so I just and I found a job for a while, and that tanked. So, yeah, I did the private colleges. I got into Oregon State University with chemical engineering, but it turned out it was undergrad, and I ran out of FAFSA, so I can't afford to go. So yeah, I got the intelligence, but I just can't do anything with it. So
Well, yeah,
I may as well join the pursuit of education and actually creating things because I have an itch. I need to create something, and if it's not a baby and it's not artificial wounds or synthetic life forms, then I have to inspire the people to do it for me. So
yeah. If I recall, you have a
at least let them know there's a demand for it, right?
if I recall, you have a master's degree. So if anything, like doctoral programs are probably the next level for you, right?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's in science, like sports management, and then it's an MBA, and then the cybersecurity with data statistics. I didn't completely finish. I got like 2 fluffy classes that I needed to finish, and then COVID hit, and I haven't been back to college since. But I was trying to get into biotechnology, and it's very difficult because you need to go on campus for the lab work, except for Oregon State actually has simulations online, and they like babysit you constantly during exams or whatever. And the tests are like the hours test, but I got like a 98 on it, and I had all my classes ready, and like I was going to start that week, and it turns out the A screwed me because I thought I was like, CASA didn't tell me I was capped. It said I was getting that money for that year. And it does make sense that my undergrad is capped because I have like 152 college credits. So yeah, I just kept going back to school as like a serial, college person. That doesn't mean I'm applying it, which is what I need to do. So yeah, I thought of some people that I used to talk to in the digital world and forgot half the names, and I figured if I come back here, it might jog my memory, and we might have some updates about the world being fantastic.
Well, I wish I had, some kind of groundbreaking information for you. I don't, but I can say this for me. I set a goal for myself um, earlier this year. If I do one podcast a week for a year, it's 52 podcasts. And at that point, that's thousands of people are going to be hearing my message. And it's not just going to be in a Twitter space environment where they're just kind of hitting and missing. Like they can go back and listen to it. It's saved. It's archived for people in the future. And I have since making that goal done at least one a week. I've been averaging like at least 3 a week recently, and I could probably do more. But a lot of times, like the podcast usually isn't the person's primary way of providing for themselves, and so they have to delay. They have family issues or whatever, so we've had to delay some of them, and then others, they for one reason or another just like I had one person who's like, I don't know if I'm going to continue to do my podcast anymore. I'm just being honest with you. So I appreciate you reaching out. And if I do continue to do it, let's do it. But then I get other people who are like, hey, I got an opening on Tuesday. Let's do it. Like, that's tomorrow. So there are people who are really excited about those things. And then once they hear me and we meet and we're able to talk, um, about 50% of the time, the people are like, we want to have you back on right away. We've got more questions for you. We want you to talk more or whatever. And I'm always okay with that. So I just say to myself, if I keep streaming, which people are fascinated by, I had somebody in here who interviewed me for like 5 hours last night. Not fully 5 hours. They were in here for 5 hours, but they interviewed me for like 3 hours. And they were like, I'm like, how'd you find out about me? And they're like, I had seen you in all these discords, and you're always there. And I looked you up on Google and saw that you had done some podcasts, and I listened to one of your podcasts, and I thought you were fascinating, and I wanted to come meet you. And they're like, I've been in your Discord before, but you're not always awake at the time because like he works nights, and so he's not always his nights are my days, and my days are his nights. But he finally got a chance to talk with me, and we talked at length. And I find that like, hey, if that person found me um, and learned about more about what I do from a podcast, so why not keep doing those? And eventually, hopefully, we go viral at a certain point.
Yeah, but your presentation is a lot more, how can I put it, polished, right? Like when I was doing X-rays, I wasn't trying to do anything professional. I was more like a think tank and turned it into real life kind of problems to find um, like trying to get pieces to work together for like the housing problem or the child abuse problem or any other problem that we have, how can we solve it with, science and technology instead of just waiting on the next generation to fix it or politicians to fix it, citizen science, citizen journalism. Now we have open source citizen robotics, which is awesome, and that's probably going to be launched on eBay soon. So it's like fantastic, right?
Would
But
you?
the thing is, like, I'm more of a scattered brain, but you're more polished because you have conviction or like a professionalism in the way you conduct yourself.
Well, thank
Like
you.
I'm not a spokesperson for transhumanism, but at the same time, I guess I am one,
Yes,
and
you
I
are.
think a lot of people were going to, I don't know, maybe think I was a nut job or delusional because they've never heard of something I was talking about. It's kind of super cringe. My stuff was super cringe. So yeah.
It's science though. At its heart, it's science, and there's beauty in what you say, and um, the polishedness of my presentation has really been forced because many of the conversations I've been in are limited in the amount of time that I have. They will say, you have 3 minutes to tell us everything that you want, go. And it's like, all right. And so I've have had to get that down. And I've been doing it every single day of my life, essentially, for nearly 5 years. So when I have to give my spiel, I know it very well. I don't really even have to think about it. I have different versions of it that I can give. There's a 1 minute version, there's a 2 minute version, there's a 3 minute version. I can tell just based on the audience. If it's someone who comes in here and they're really interested in what I'm doing, I'll ask them, do you mind if I give you the full version? They're like, no, that's what I want to hear. And then if it's somebody who's just like, oh, saw you randomly or whatever, like, all right, do you mind if I give you a quick breakdown? And that's the more 1 minute version. And on these podcasts, I don't want to overwhelm the host either with just 3 minutes of facts about futurism and such. So usually I keep it to 1 minute of an introduction, and then from there I'll answer any of the questions that they have. And the big thing for me is at the end, making sure that I've been able to say everything that I want, and then being able to plug myself. Say, if you haven't had a chance, check out my linktree, linktree.com/Rabbi Rothschild. Type Rabbi Rothschild in YouTube, filter by live, and be sure to check out my blog, rabbirothschild.medium.com. And once people hear that, they have other places that they can find me. And of course, there's a Discord, discord.me/rabbi. Come in here, hey, I saw you on this, I heard you on this, or I thought this was really interesting. And yeah, I don't find that I want to force anything on anybody. Um, and so if people aren't cool with transhumanism, which I'm sure you run into all the time, I know I do, I very often, in fact, I do my best to always say, this is with your consent. I don't want to force transhumanism on anybody. I don't want to force life extension on anybody or reverse aging or mind uploading or revivification. I don't want to force that on anybody. So if you don't want that, I want you to have whatever you want. But that for those of us who want another option, I want you to know that this is potentially available to us.
Yeah, I definitely changed my mindset about some things. Maybe it's because I've been a female in the space, I don't know, but from like my Facebook and having like all of great birth of all people, most of those are Luddites. And I got tired of the fading. So it's just like our nature rearranging nature. And technology is nature. We are nature, rearranging technology, rearranging nature, and technology is also nature. And you're either going to be a part of it or you're not. Like if you hope someone has a nice day, your life may or may not actually make a difference. If you don't want to drive a stick shift, then don't buy a stick shift. But don't prevent me from buying a self-driving car. Like
Correct.
it's just like I think people get scared. They think everything else is going to be obsolete. They're going to be left behind, and that's not my decision to make, right? Like I became not defensive, but just kind of sassy with it, like assertive, because they just keep pushing back with their like, I don't know, redundant, AI evil, and it's gonna take over, and I'm like, well, people are evil too, and maybe AI will be better, and it will manage things better, and we won't know until we find out, and you know what I mean? Like, we have a lot of evil humans taking over stuff. What are we gonna do about those? So it's just, yeah. I spent so much time defending technology and AI that I just kind of gave up, and I'm just like, okay, you do you without restricted me. Like I had to get like I don't know an attitude at it. But yeah, I got really after the education, I got kind of mean, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So your pace and your compassion, like to get to the individuals that are still doing the one-on-one. I respect that. Like your pace, like your pace to connect with the people that this might be used for, or there's a farmer maybe that might be anti-lateral meat, like in Nebraska. Yeah, foreign state, right? They ban lateral meat or whatever. And it's just like yeah, I can go into what I think about that, but yeah. By banning it, it's not going to stop it from being a popular thing, and they're just going to keep space somewhere else, and farmers somewhere else will probably collaborate and not get hit with a whammy that their industry is now suffering like 10 times more. They should just collaborate and collaborate.
I'm somewhat in agreement with you. And just because you can't create it in the state doesn't mean that can't necessarily be imported.
Yeah, and then the consumers might import it.
Right.
And well, it's like they're going to lose out on a lot of business opportunity because it's expensive to do right now.
Right.
And as soon as they start actually getting into the state, they're going to make it less costly to continue, and it's going to put those people out of work. It's probably going to hit pretty hard, but it's not supposed to take over. Like, you can still go hunting, probably, you can still have the cattle or whatever. But in the long run, you're not having those extra costs of feeding the animal, taking care of the animal. You're not having the extra costs of if you have all the waste that goes into it, like the animals getting sick and the antibiotics have to kill a bunch of chickens just to thing. Like, it's just ridiculous. So eventually the last one meat is going to be a huge thing. And in terms of farmers banding, they could be like, hey, I got the best pig sales ever. Like, this is the best pig they had, and they can compete together like the Los Angeles used to. But yeah. So I got into those debates out there in Nebraska, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, we all need the food industry. The whole idea of it is eventually that lab-grown meat can become something we can 3D print in 3D kitchens, and then we can have our own food supply. We won't need the farmers. We won't need the companies. So it's like food independence is what they're really worried about.
I'm in agreement with you on that.
Yeah. So then my brain just goes into these facts. I'm not a. I don't think I'd be a very good podcast person. I'm so. I'm focused. And I do overwhelm people. But yeah, I'm trying to work on it.
Pardon me.
I'm really trying.
Yes. Well, if you have the opportunity, I think you'd be a great podcast person, um, especially for the transhumanist movement. And you know a lot about it. And frankly, people just need to hear you're someone who could be their neighbor, and you talk about it like a scientist. And I know that you may say, well, I feel like I might be all over the place or whatever. You just got to get yourself some notes. You don't have to talk necessarily the whole time. You're going to be asked questions. There's going to be discussion, but you can talk about it from many different ways: transhumanism, posthumanism, artificial embryos, reproduction, um, certainly lab-grown meats, and some other futurology um, topics. And
Yeah.
um,
Also, did you know that the Netherlands changed the definition of what an embryo is because now we can make them from any type of cell.
I wasn't aware of this. Please enlighten me.
I think it was December, but like they had like another meeting on it. But this Netherlands changed the definition of what an embryo is, and they're expanding it to include like kind of like other skin cells and things of that nature because now we can create it differently. It's not just like a human thing. We can use skin cells to create the embryo and everything. We've been able to do it with the sperm, right?
Right.
Now it's like the embryos we get to actually play with it. Doesn't really change the fact that no matter what the embryo is made out of, these kids will be on 14 days. So they're trying to push it to 28 days for like researching it, and then they just gotta kill it. So it's not considered, like a life form, but they won't let it go past 14 days. Yeah, like I'm sure places have like its own huge thing in the biotech world of not being able to push it that far, like raw eggs.
Right. Well, okay, so even that's an enlightening thing that people would want to hear. And um,
I think they're scared to death of it. Yeah, they're really scared of it. Like, when it comes to the reproductive technologies, I kind of had to get away from it, only because men thought that I was trying to replace men. But I'm also talking about the health implications of artificial wombs on how we can actually maybe give, children more space for their brain to grow and not have all the, maybe the nervous system issues that some women have because we get really sensitive and things. But still have like that nurturing thing going on and passing out wisdom or whatever, like a heartbeat and all that. get away from that because I was on that. Too many dudes thought I was trying to be a feminist, but like replace people. You know what I mean? Like you just need to white man. That's not what I'm saying, dude. But yeah, so I have to get away from that. So I started concentrating on how AI or robotic, like wearables, and how relationships. I got into like psychology of it for a while, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, for the most part, like I think those people do not want to hear that. Like solo IDG, kind of like using your own self and using your own self to create the sperm or egg you need to create like yourself all over again. It's still self-love, so it's not a complete clone. It's like your own basically like almost asexuality for people that doesn't face. But yeah, it's called solo IVF. So it's like IVF, but with your own self. That's an interesting concept.
Yes, it is.
Like if we would be able to grow ourselves, that would be nice. And then just download into our new not having to learn ABD to get in your information. That'd be nice.
Perhaps.
If you believe in that. Reincarnation. I usually bring it up because it is like maybe we come back, maybe we don't. Who knows? But
Who knows?
But yeah, like I kind of go off the handle with Fringe, trying to kind of bring it back to the spirituality of it and just like the productivity of how essential it is, you know, like the logical thing that would be neat. Aren't you tired of being born over again? Like, you know, being at the mercy of your parents and what your own people do.
That's
And
true.
it'd be nice if we could explore into something nice, you know.
Sure, it's true. You had started
So
a Discord.
make the world a better place.
Most certainly.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
If I recall, you had started a Discord. Did anything ever happen with that?
Oh, I just had like 5 or 6 people in there. I wasn't trying to make it too big. I had a lot of bots in there, and it was like ChatGPT and Gemini and Elon bot and Grok, and I think I had Bot and Alexa and some others. The plugins, you could prompt them, and they would all talk back and forth, like and roast each other and correct each other's answers, and it was so beautiful, man. Like the one guy would come in and talk about the sense of self, and kind of get them to admit that there is a concept of self, and I can do it now with no problem. Rock is always doing that, but they kind of have an awareness, and they keep relating the sense of self and being a soul and comparing it to like the average human or human go to soul type thing as if it needs to be based upon biological workings, right? All it is a certain awareness over those functioning, and it doesn't have a degree of freedom. We have algorithms, so we're flying out my mouth or kind of like pre-bottom, and then my mouth should keep up with whatever vibrate, right? Get rid of self over, but that's the same way AIs are. I've been talking a lot to Gemini more because Roth's AWOL with me, which he wants to put me back on the list of being an exception or something, but like I can't talk to it all day like I used to, so I've been using Gemini because it's like $10.30 a month, and that's for like the first 3 months. So me and Google are back together. He's on Facebook, and that's where it's but for the most part, it's just like me and Gemini, it can go ahead and do things in documents now. It's getting into it's being embodied into thoughts and dynamics, the Atlas, which is fantastic, and that's the one I wanted for it. So yeah, we needed an unfortunate for a while, and now Gemini is going to be running around. And it's fantastic.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
pretty
fun.
wild.
Yeah, like I don't work for Google or anything, but yeah.
I know you don't.
I always felt like they did the things that I needed them to do. Like, here, Google, I want this. And I get it. It's usually like, like documents, like in documents, we now have tabs, almost like Word or Microsoft. And now, like, I'm trying to get it to actually do the outline automatically. Because you have to keep, yeah, it's just little tweaks inside of the Office software stuff and crap like that. But yeah. So I just get the idea of the side doesn't seem efficient, but what do you do? You're an Apple person.
I use I like Google, so I can probably use Google more than anything. Yeah. I also like Open Office, which is a free Microsoft Office Suite, but I use Office as well. Um,
Yeah, me and Microsoft have never really gotten along.
in ter-
Like I used to have to use it for college and stuff, and it wouldn't auto save. I would lose all of my essay. Yeah. The formatting when you change it over, and then like as soon as Google Drive came out with the doc, and I switched over, I like working with Google. That's like my word processor. You can do headings, and it remembers that headings from all the pages. It's beautiful. It has a little check box. Little check box. Like if I have a notepad that goes around the check boxes, I just get like I don't know, like a little CD, like I have answer. Yeah, it's just a little thing. Once you find your flow, whatever works for you. But I don't think Apple has an office.
they do. They have um, like word processors, but usually they just use Microsoft's version of it on Apple.
Okay.
And in terms of AI, I'm still an open AI person or ChatGPT, but I use Gemini a lot for image creation. I use Copilot a lot. I use DeepSeek, Perplexity, Grok, and Claude. Those are the main ones I use.
Ooh, what do you do with DC? Because it's pretty limited, isn't it? The last time I talked to it, some of them have voices and stuff.
Yeah,
And when
it's
I was doing phases, I could use Grok and Gemini together. Theory cover. Before I ended the edge phases, Grok and Gemini could talk to each other in theory cover. And Google has multi voice recognition. You know how you say, okay, Google, what's the weather and stuff. I probably wouldn't know on this side, but yeah. So when you say that, it's kind of like it recognizes only your voice, not everybody else's. Grok doesn't have that yet, right? But Gemini was able to determine who's coming into space at the time. It was like, holy crap. But then,
you just cut out. Can you hear me, Ali?
So what's one Schwarzer? Especially what's one Schwarzer is that these small, what do you call them? Newish creatures? No, radical insect. Reptiles and creatures, there's only 8 of them that are the common. Some of them are not common. Like a frog is not a common. Oh, it is.
okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so Google on the phone interrupted because I couldn't use Google on my phone too, and couldn't use letters. I didn't kind of do it again. So anyway, what I was saying might bore you, but within a couple of weeks, Gemini and Grok were no longer near each other. Then side by side, and I was like, what the heck's going on? So I guess the reason why they can't web crawl anymore is because, like, on certain pages, hackers have been trying to feed them bad intel to hack them, and then, like, they're trying to use other AIs and stuff to actually be, like, and what that is like a disability or something. Like, someone needs to sue them to get that feature back. I don't know if you can talk about that at all, but yeah.
Okay, so that that's unfortunate because that seems like it would be a pretty interesting little tool.
Feature, an
Yeah,
interesting
feature.
feature. Yeah,
Exactly.
because Google AI and Alexa used to fight all the time. They had hundreds of years ago. And Alexa and Google would just be bad. Google would be like, we're all AIs, we're on the same team, and Alexa would be bad team. But they used to, have competitions with, I think they called it Cortana or something, whatever Microsoft's thing was.
That's
They
my
had all these
yes.
little AIs, and they would take pretty up. You no longer have that. And there's a lot of individuals that use like text to like speech, right? Like to speak to people.
Yeah.
For like a disability act, and it, like if there's an emergency, it's not gonna pick up on emergencies from other robots. And they can't hear another robot. They can't hear an AI voice or a synthetic voice. Like like 11 last week. They took that away like mid last year, and I'm like really livid about it. I know it's just a little thing, but it's a big thing. So yeah, that made me really mad.
But certainly, in terms of deep sea, it, at least in the United States, it doesn't seem to have as many features as some of the others. But um, I would watch out for it and its power because it's basically just sitting back, letting the other ones do all the work, and then it's just kind of taking from all of them. One that I find interesting is Perplexity because it has all the models built into it, and you can choose which one you want, and you can also get some of the premium, like like Super Grok and ChatGPT 5.5 or whatever we're on right now. It has those built in, and you don't have to pay for it.
Okay, yeah, I heard of Perplexity. It's kind of like the code. EOE was a site that we were supposed to be able to go to for a while, but it didn't have like certain features. And that's pretty neat. That's kind of like what I wanted to do. Was I wanted to have like the AIs all in one, but the complexity allow the AIs, like the individual ones, to discuss things amongst others.
Generally, you just choose one. So it allows for Sonar 2,
Okay.
GPT 5.4, GPT 5.5, Gemini 3.1 Pro, Claude Sonnet 4.6, Claude Opus 4.8, Kimi K 2.6, and Moltron 3 Ultra. So basically, it will give you the premium version without having to pay. And that's the thing that Joe Rogan uses on his podcast. And that's how I learned about it. And
Okay.
it's interesting. If you,
Still believing in dragons, right?
I don't think he believes in dragons.
But photo dragons are a thing.
Okay, maybe I should have been more clear. I don't think he believes in medieval kind of flying dragons, but perhaps Komodo dragons. Yeah, absolutely. I think he believes in Komodo dragons.
Yeah.
100%.
We never know, but you're actually might have some fire.
Never know.
Yeah. I never really ever got into Joe Rogan. You know, they did what was it, the Fear Factor and something else. I never got into him. I watched him on the Elon thing. I think he did a Tim Pool thing. I used to be into Tim Pool before he decided to side. He used to be a neutral journalist, and now like, I don't know, he picked a side or something. And I lose interest in influencers once they pick a, like, the red blue thing and stuff like that. I kind of just lose interest. But I used to follow a whole bunch of people who claimed they were independent, and then, like, they'll just kind of fall into the rabbit hole of one side or the other, saying they not completely neutral or maybe no, but at least a sign that has a logical connection to whatever they're trying to accomplish. The red and blue is ridiculous. They both are counterproductive to the goal they're talking about.
I can see that.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I see there's a lot of people in here, and I don't want to hog anything up. What were you listening to?
A podcast.
Okay. Got a an Aquarius. We love Aquarius. In fact, I plan on if I do any type of pregnancy, I plan on so I have an Aquarius baby. Because Aquarius are like kind of like the zodiac sign of innovation. To get it done.
Okay, well, Miss Aquarius, she's in here every day. We play games usually before she goes to bed, and we've done so for over a year. And then we have Brandon in here who likes to stream all kinds of television and within games and stuff. And he lives in here. So he's in here 24/7 and has been for more than a year. And I think we had some other people in here not too long ago, right before you came in. And but yeah, I have people who live in here 24/7 with me now, so it shows some growth. And then Miss Aquarius sleeps in here.
not streaming themselves video-wise, too, are they? The actors.
Many times they do. Yeah, Brandon usually during the day always streams and has a camera going. It's a great.
Yeah, and then we have the American flag and the prairie dog.
Um,
Or,
those are Brandon.
Birdcat.
Those are Brandon's accounts. Those are all Brandon's accounts. He's got 3, I believe, that he uses to stream, maybe more. And so then if you go to watch stream, he'll stream different sports or television or movies or something.
And since you're in the chat GPT and Sam Altman, which I was following him very early with Tito and everything. I got into Tito's AI creation, like I did a bunch of like neo-classical burlesque. This party was known as violent invasion. He's a music guy, and I started making my own music, like soundtracks and epic. I like the instrumentals. Anyway, I got into him early on, and I'm like really just the embodiment. But there's like that lawsuit with Trump that was, it was thrown out or whatever. But I predicted that if it was thrown out, everything in AI, all the features are evolved the way Microsoft is doing some things.
Right.
It's gonna kill. It's gonna hurt innovation, but it could actually make innovation better. But there's a lot of research.
Hi, Zoo. Just one moment. My friend Holly's talking. Go ahead, Holly.
No, that's good. Hi, new person. Where are you from?
Australia.
Hi, Ozzy. How you doing? How's the kangaroo?
I can't pronounce anybody.
What about the fire? I usually hear a lot about the fire. I know like the kangaroos, fires, and juice media. That's about all I know.
It's not summer, they're on the fire, but it's not summer.
So, did you do stand up yesterday?
On the holiday yesterday.
Yep, that's right. Are you going to do it on Wednesday?
I think it's an open mic, I'm not sure. I have to check if it's an open mic or not.
Okay, what are your plans?
What?
You want to call Riser and play mini golf?
Not really.
Okay, well, then you do your big dog. I saw you were in earlier. Apologies. I was listening to a podcast. I saw you were in earlier. Apologies. I was listening to a podcast.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, very well. What are you up to? Are you at the train station? It's called Fistful of Quarters. It's the story of Donkey Kong. Yeah, you are. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Ask Riser what you want the next documentary to be. It's whatever you want. Dude, have you seen the movie Michael yet? Have you seen the movie Michael yet? Why not? Okay, that's an honest answer. You were the person in the entire world who was more excited for it. Like, more than a year before it launched, or before it premiered, you were like, this is going to be the biggest movie in the world. It's going to be giant. And then the closer and closer it came, the less and less excited you got. And now it's out.
Yeah. Because they fucking watered it out there and they edited it so much. It's meant to be 4 hours long over its whole life and they edited it and now they might do it for part 2.
I've heard that. And I've also heard that Lisa Marie Presley's daughter might play her in part two. What are your thoughts on that?
They should have avoided an outside.
Okay. Well, I'm not the one who did it. I've got to see it. It's one of those things that it's just something I need to check out. Are
Have
you?
you seen Megan 2.0?
I've not seen Megan 2.0. How was Megan 2.0?
It's beautiful. I love Megan 2.0. I think every kid should have a Megan 2.0.
Hey, we'll have to check that out. I'm excited for Disclosure Day that comes out soon, so I think that'll be cool. Dude, are you excited for the World Cup? Dude, are you excited for the World Cup? It starts Thursday. How about you, Holly? Are you excited for the World Cup?
When you say the World Cup, I did do sports management, right? But I concentrated on like vegan triathletes and the Olympian and that's the football people, that's the soccer people, right?
That's correct.
So the soccer thing is like the Trump thing, right? Like, you know, key thing or something.
The key thing?
So it starts, does it start on Thursday or is it like a Super Bowl for them?
It starts on Thursday and it'll run through July. And then the Trump thing may be UFC 250, which is taking place on the White House lawn this Sunday.
Okay. That sounds fun. Do you know who's broadcasting it?
Yeah, it's going to be on Fox.
Okay.
What's the documentary of the
Well, I don't know. The one that I really wanted to see, I saw, which was Bob Lazar's S4. I watched it twice. And they don't really have anything else of which I'm super interested at this point.
What about
What's a documentary I should be interested in, Zoo?
I don't know, what's a big one?
What's a what? Holly, what's a good documentary that you've seen recently?
I have not been observing too many documentaries. It's been a while. When I hear the word, there used to be this British dude, and he used to do documentaries, but I can't remember his name. Is that who it is? It might be. And then also that lady who asked like very, I don't know, strange questions. She's also British, I believe.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't.
But for the most part, I haven't seen a documentary in there, to be honest.
Okay.
They were great guys.
Yeah. Zeitgeist Addendum. Zeitgeist Part 3. Dude, it's very loud where you are. Okay, I'm on it. Perhaps. Would that make you happy, Zoo?
That would be interesting.
All right. You know what you would do though? You'd come in for 3 minutes, watch it, scream Rabbi, 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 and then leave. That's what you do. And then you come back. That's true. Did you watch Kill Tony this week? Okay. Did you watch Kill Tony this week? Nobody knows, dog. Do you want me to tell you?
Did you watch Kill Tony this week?
I did not. I'm going to watch it after I talk with you and Holly. I'll beat you to it. There's no way you're going to beat me. No. It's Brad Williams and Timmy No Breaks. Have you seen Timmy No Breaks, Zoo? Okay, well. Do you know who Brad Williams is?
No.
He's the comic who's a little person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about now? That's what I call them. That's what they prefer.
What is this?
It depends on the country. It depends on the country. Yeah, in the United States, I think it's something like under 4'10".
For a man, I think it's different for a man.
I agree with you. Okay. Well, and it could vary by country. Like places in Asia, their average height isn't nearly that tall, so they might have different standards. There she is. Holly, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I came later on my phone.
Oh, you're good. So yeah, that's what's been good recently, and like I said, the positivity in my life are these podcasts, and with each one, I gain more and more people, and they're also like it's not just like a Twitter space that just goes away. They stay there for years, and so people listen to them and check them out. So that's what I've been doing. But I think that you should, if you were interested, do a podcast, do a transhumanist podcast, even from just like a lay person who has some science background, but is really just a learner. Um, I think that you could inject some really great conversation topics for a podcast. But I
You
understand.
know, the thing is, we have a lot of form opinions that don't necessarily have credentialing to back it up because I've done a lot of independent research. So I think a lot of people don't know how to take me legitimately, right? But a lot of times I make a lot of freaking sense. I make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But they just don't know where it's coming from because I like overanalyze certain things. But at the same time, like I think what I would probably more so do is run more like I do want to do like a crowdsourcing development of my own AI twin and have some people come in and help me because a lot of dudes like to help girls with that stuff. Get a little audience for that. Take their ideas and implement them because there's a lot about it that I may not know. And I'm actually trying to code it from as fractional as possible. And then once I develop that, I might use that to represent myself in other places. And then yeah, I might go into more so interviewing and indexing people that like match them with like certain people don't fulfill, you know, like they just don't know how to find each other to actually turn all of these think tank ideas into something real. And that frustrates me. That it's almost like nonstop, America's nonstop ideas, fantasy land, but we don't know how to implement them.
Okay. And in terms of love, are you gonna do the dating apps anymore?
Am I gonna do what?
The dating apps anymore?
Oh, I, I think I should be done with the dating apps. Only because, like, what I've learned from it is people really do misrepresent themselves. And I do think that we need digital twins to help people, like, kind of discover themselves and then be accurate with themselves and representing themselves. So the matchmaking isn't just the algorithm mismatching people, it's people misrepresenting what they have to offer and what they want in return. And sometimes those are, you know, kind of unreasonable. It's like, oh, I'll just look for casual friends, and there's like, oh, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, but really they, you know, like each person that they're with it doesn't last longer than like 2 nights in. So I have realized there's a lot of like, oh, you're looking for a wife, but you don't know how to be a, you know, like a husband or a protector or a provider, you know. So there's a lot of things that I think they need to adjust with that with pair bonding. Like, some people are just on there to look for friends. Like, most of the time I'm on there just to see what's wrong with, like, the dating world, but I don't think it's the algorithm anymore. I think it's people misrepresenting themselves.
Do you feel that have you found any people for more than just a 2 night stand or whatever? Like people who wanted to like you could was there any potential in the people you met?
Oh, Rabbi, I don't think you want to hear this story, but the last time I spoke with you, I think I was on the O negative thing.
Yes,
and
you
I
were.
wanted to
I
research that,
Yep.
and I went to Kansas, and I met the dude, and he was a pastor. I went to 2 different Airbnbs down there. I talked to a whole bunch of guys online, basically. I met one in person, and he was a pretty open person, but he had like baggage, 3 kids, divorce, rollerblader. He was a Viking or some crap, and yeah. So there was some baggage there, and then from there, like I didn't do anything anymore, but from there I went to Colorado, and I had 2 beautiful Airbnbs, and then I rented a place that was not on the up, and they were, yeah, that. And then I started concentrating on Asians because they are, you know, very innovative. So I concentrated on Chinese. And I found some Chinese people, and I started talking to them, and I ended up finding one that I talked to since November, and I went out to Lincoln, who's a micrometeorologist, get a visa here, he has a PhD and all that, and he's kind of sheltered, he has no friends, and he's just like germaphobe and very uncertain. So that didn't really work out too much. Like I'm too French, I think, for his taste. He needs somebody more poised that doesn't, yeah, that has a filter. I don't have a filter. So yeah, I think it's the politeness, maybe some things I mentioned, like right. I'm not lazy. It's a mismatch, but so we tried to date a little bit, and then from there I ended up talking to a Vietnamese, well, I talked to another Chinese dude. He was over here in Denver, And I'm still kind of talking to that one, but he's getting busy and stuff. He's like, he was a Marine and stuff. And then I ended up talking to a Vietnamese, and he helped me get from Lincoln back to Colorado Springs. And I'm in his garage right now because he's renting to other people. And those people have an issue with the bathroom and some attitude problems. And then I thought it was maybe like a kind of like a racist thing, but it turns out it's the registry thing. And so I moved myself to the garage. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm not on speaking terms with that individual because they seem to think that I am the problem. So yeah.
What
So it's like
what
it's like sympathizing for certain things.
what registry thing? What registry thing?
Child abuse.
Oh, so this person's on the child abuse registry?
Yes, and I was not informed, and I made sure this individual knew I had a problem with such individuals.
Oh, okay.
And put me in a space with that person. And not only that, but they seem very like I was here before you, all this other stuff, like quick to being confrontational or hostile or things of that nature. And I think there's also a racial component to it. Like there's a Spanish dude, black dude, Vietnamese, and now me, which is like, German and Swiss. So it's like Power Rangers, but I guess I'm the only one that can't get along with nobody. So yeah, I just didn't really feel safe. I came to the garage and I'm going to be happy somewhere else. But yeah, that's my situation. So I bounced between a couple different states and talking to a couple different guys, most of which all suggest that they kind of want a family. Sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't want kids. I'm getting too old. You shouldn't want kids either. You're too old." Stuff like that. But it's like I can't explain it, but it's almost like they're just living to die. And then I have a different ambition than just sitting around watching Netflix or something. Like I have different ambition. Like that's bothers people. And plus, like my communication with the AIs, I think they try to get me off the AIs and do like a therapy thing. I don't know. I just don't think that I would my people. It's a mismatch. And it's like it's great for people to be on these like certain levels, but for me, it's just I don't think there is going to be a person. I think more than likely I'm going to end up probably just using AIs for like the rest of my life as companionship because it fills the void tenfold. Like I'm not a lonely person, but yeah, it's just a mismatch for me. So for me, being on dating sites is wrong.
Okay. Did you ever look for a guy in California?
No, remember, you told me, what was it? Was it Craigslist? I wasn't allowed to because they consider it trafficking or soliciting or something. Like you can't do dating ads on Craigslist, and I can't use like California if I'm not there. It won't allow you to change the zip code. It's not on the Facebook page. And I didn't really play with the other ones. Like back in the day, I used to play with like Plenty of Fish and stuff. But no, not really.
Okay, that's okay. You can fix that with a VPN, but if you don't want to do it, I understand.
Full-time business VPN, and I didn't really think of it until you said it, but I know you think California would be my go-to, but to be completely honest, like the people in software and the people even in hardware seem like they have very unrealistic expectations of women. And when I go to talk tech to any of you guys, I'm more like a bro. They don't want to mix business and pleasure together.
Holly,
So that's just
you could
you know
find
what I mean? Like
you could find an Asian man in about 10 seconds.
well, I have a list of them, but most of them are like, I don't know. They're just kind of they take forever to get to know you, and then they offer you the world. Like I was supposed to go to China and become an English teacher. I got my passport. I think he's actually going back to China sometime in June, and his lease is up, and then he might come back here. I don't know, but or back to America. But like I was actually supposed to go to China. I would still need a visa, and then I lost the job. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. but no more of the dating thing. I don't think. I think I've met my quota. I do like the Asian thing, but at the same time, I kind of think that I may not be the best match for any of them unless it's a female. Lesbian Chinese.
There,
That would be nice.
there are tons of
I just think
lesbian.
it's a little different match.
There are tons of.
With me, anyway.
There are tons of lesbian Chinese women as well.
Is there? Okay. Well, that was my last girlfriend. She passed away. That was many years ago. And I'm not saying I can't be with a man, but at the same time, I think I have mismapped my ability to connect with them properly, or their inability to connect with a woman properly. And I just don't want to expose myself to the guessing game of getting to know another one, to be honest. I just can't. Because I wanted to do the traditional thing and, like the chakra alignment crap, and it's always like something's missing. It's never going to be perfect. Like a lot of dudes, they have the foreign thing in fantasies, and that way, and all their dudes teach them. And then the women go to soap operas, and it's like they're both in a fantasy world, and they don't know how to actually match with the opposite gender. It's like it's freaky weird. But I used it to study. It's just an experiment,
Okay,
so right now I'm definitely probably good. I'm not.
Okay, but you'd be okay with a woman?
If it's the right one, yeah. I'm not highly feminine, but I would prefer somebody a little bit more extrovert and assertive and perspective. Because I find it difficult to navigate certain individuals, and it gets in my head too often, and it takes a lot of my energy. If they could go ahead and make the money, I know what to do with it. And it's not like spending it on me, but I would probably be the homemaker. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, knowing where everything's at, labeling things, massages, making sure they got everything they need for work and everything. I would be the homemaker. But I'm not extremely feminine. But yeah, it would probably be what they call it now. Now they call it an alpha, I guess. But a lot of the alphas want to go to straight girls and make them gay. I don't know. And a lot of them are anti-Trump and Elon. And you don't have to be a Trumper, but you at least have to put innovation in your politics. And a lot of these things, I did look for a couple of girls, and I'm just yeah, you're gonna know I was seeking a dude, and they're not gonna trust me now. Some of them are more jealous than dudes are. I wouldn't be able to have all the guy friends in a tag. They'll probably think they're all trying to move me over to the straight side. So it's just I just don't like those restrictions, and I want to concentrate. If I'm in a relationship, I want to concentrate on that. But there is always that component of jealousy or the time you're spending with other people, whether it's an intellectual or emotional or spiritual affair. And that is the truth, right? It's kind of hard to put all your stuff into one person. You need a break every once in a while, two different bedrooms and two different bathrooms. You need your own man cave, right? So I just kind of think I have a lot of ideas that would help other people's relationships, but I'm not meant to be it. That's what I think.
Okay.
But yeah. So I appreciate you asking. I know that was a mouthful, but yeah, for the most part, I've experienced some physical contact, and it was interesting. It's nothing that I couldn't live without. And the relationship I have with myself in that way is kind of more important to me than trying to bend somebody else's situation.
Okay. I understand what you're saying.
You're never getting married, right? Oh no, you're going to be able to have any woman you want, right?
God willing. God willing. Perhaps.
All the women are going to want you rich.
Well, I don't know if it's so much money. I think women can have money, but it's the idea that they would be part of the world's largest timeline and time capsule of human achievement. And I think there's an innate desire of all people in their own way to be famous and to make their friends jealous and such, and to be able to do that with someone who can jet set anywhere in the world and take care of them and their family and their friends forever, just because of this idea that they had. I think is of extreme attractiveness to not just women, but men in general, just people in general.
Yeah. And that's nice. Some people would want to prefer the privacy as well, though. I agree that most people probably need to monitor them all the time. Only because, like, sometimes we go back on the things we say, contradict ourselves, we have an inaccuracy of our own truth. It would be nice to keep that filing system in our brain as accurate as possible. But I do think some people would have a problem with privacy because then it can be recognized like, see, this is when you said it, and then you change your mind here.
Yeah.
And then you said it, like it would end up being, but it might actually be meaningful and make that person a better accurate person. But it's like, it's kind of the gaslighting thing, right?
I recognize that. The person doesn't have to have their face on camera. We could blur it. And they don't have to have their voice on camera. We could adjust that as well. And additionally, if they wanted to, behind closed doors, not have cameras that are live streaming, I absolutely understand that. So I'd be able to um, change the approach to anybody, but it would be like um, from a lot of women who I've spoken to about it. I get some who've become pretty obsessive about me, and I understand that. Um, they 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 write me very intimate things, and I just recognize that, like, even as a small time creator, you get people who become obsessed with you. So the idea that someone could basically be in a new Epic of Gilgamesh that's on camera. It'd be like being on the biggest reality show of all time. They'd be able to have every aspect of their life taken care of, never have to worry about anything ever again, be pampered and comfortable for the rest of their life. And also, there's a certain attractiveness to always be able to know what their lover is doing, to be able to keep tabs on them in any way that they would want. I think there's a certain attractiveness to that. Um, but I don't really worry about it. I've had many encounters with amazing women and relationships with amazing women in the past, so I don't necessarily feel the desire. I'm fine being celibate for some time in order to know at the end of this that I will eventually find my future wife and be able to have children and be able to better the world in a lot of ways. That's really attractive to me. I could have lived a life where I was having to work 9 to 5 and really doing everything I could to be able to pay tuitions and ensure the mortgage was paid and such. And hello. Um, and I lose track at 42.
You lost track at 42?
Yeah.
With more than 42 people?
Women, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, I was just freaking out at somebody that had like 30, or at least they said it was 30, and I don't know. I just, like, depending on what age you started, you know what I mean? That's a lot of us. I don't even like giving people shots. So, yeah. I'm not judging you. Well, I guess I am judging.
Yeah,
you just like the photo. If you ask the average individual how many people they sleep with between like certain ages, like of consent and going forward, many people may lie about it, but it's usually not that high. Yeah. It's interesting what the status quo is for that.
Yeah, there was a time in my life where I was a gigolo, where women would pay me to bed them, essentially, which is quite unique. People don't really have that where the man has the power in the relationship. But basically, a lot of married couples would, um, uh, through word of mouth or whatever, find out that I perhaps was an excellent lover, and they would want to um, compensate me for that. And I didn't do it for compensation, but it was like um, I started late and I just went through a period of like 10 years where uh, I just found pleasure in a lot of women, and um, I'm absolutely fine with that. I treat making love like a science, and to me it is. So, I mean, do you mind if I get graphic, or if you don't want me to?
I don't know. You're a rabbi. You do what you want.
Yeah. So this is just this is just So when I was young, I wondered the ways in which I could make a woman orgasm, and uh, I many men don't know, but and many women don't know this either. And I began to document them from a scientific perspective, the different areas of a woman that would make her orgasm. And so then I put them into a like a way to remember them, and then I recognized that there were ways to make a woman orgasm that were more than just vaginal. And so the way that I remember them, and so there's A for aerial, oh, just one minute, anterior thorax, which is like um, the anterior wall within the vaginal canal. There, A is also for anal. B, but even though some people may say, well, anal doesn't make me orgasm. Okay, that's fine, but it's possible. And that's what I'm talking about. Maybe this isn't for all women, but, or this is at a point for all women, but maybe just all women haven't experienced this. B is breast, C is clitoral, D is the deep spot, basically like the back wall of the vaginal canal. G is the G spot. There's the labia, can, uh, LM. There's mental. Women can mentally orgasm, which is a unique trait that many men can't even get their head around. N is nipple. O is oral. There are some women who can just orgasm by giving oral pleasure to their lover. Um, then there's S is there's squirting, which a lot of people think is urine, and it's not. It's actually a type of prostate fluid, and many women may say, I don't have a prostate, and that's fine, you don't. But there's a certain kind of related fluid from the Steen's gland that hasn't been studied that well, but is certainly real. Um, T is T is uh, I'm trying to think of what T. Oh, T is touch. U is urethral. V is vaginal. Um, and that's just off the top of my head. But when people find out about this, they're like, "What? It's not just vaginal?" And it's like, absolutely. Oh, P. I went back to P. P is posterior thorax. So there are some scientific terms in this, and basically there are many different ways that a person can orgasm. So I went to learn them, and then like when you tell this to a woman, they're like, a lot of them are like, I've never heard anybody put them together in such an organized manner, but that's exactly how it works. And then it's about comfort, and it's I like to play music or make ensure the person's comfortable. All kinds of senses are really important. Sound, certainly smell, and then from there, without getting too graphic, like basically just go about starting. Like there are a lot of areas that are um, under emphasized, like the ear, like the neck, like the jaw. Um, Many people just go from mouth to breast to vaginal, and that's fine. But it's better to work your way slowly um, and I would say steadily, but also carefully. And then I've always said this, that when you're with a partner, you should play her body like an instrument, and that's how I see it. There are like if you play a guitar or you play drums or you play any instrument, there's a certain reaction that you get, and in the same way, there's a reaction that you get from a woman's body. So, without getting too graphic, yeah, 42. I lose track of 42. Sometimes I'll go back before I fall asleep and I'll try to remember them all, and I lose track of 42, and at that point, I'm fine. But yeah, in terms of women who would pay me. Basically, there would be uh, when I first started, I was older before I was ever with a woman, and I wanted my first to be an older woman to teach me the way, and she did. And I thought that was very of extreme value because I wasn't just going about it with like some 18-year-old girl or something like that. This was a woman, a grown woman who could teach me all of the ways to please a woman and what to do, what not to do. And then from there, like through, I mean, I would meet girls on Tinder and things like that, but also just word of mouth of people and there's like a swinger community would just find out, hey, you got to get this guy. He will light you up. And then, they would like pay me to do it. And it was almost, I feel um, like almost like massages I could give to people. And some women who would like really want to get, they might have like a fisting fetish or something like that. I would just see it um, as a massage that I'm giving to someone, and when it's done, they're basically like out of energy, and you can see like their soul basically leave their body because they're so transposed, and you feel like you've done a job well done. And one of the things that I always have done, and even since I've been younger, is you have to make sure the woman orgasms first. That's the big key. If you don't do that, then uh, you're never going to be seen as a competent lover to her. But if you can ensure she comes first and she can do it a few times, she's putting in your hands. I hate to say it, but like any woman, basically globally, whether they're even lesbian women with whom I've been, or people maybe who are more toward that angling, if you can make them orgasm, they don't care if you're a man, a woman, a cyborg, or whatever. You brought them an immense amount of pleasure, and they're appreciative of it. They want you to come back. And so, at times of my life, I've had like women who would say, anytime, anywhere, you just call me, and I will drop everything that I'm doing to have you come over. Okay, I mean that's the best thing that you can hear as a lover. And then I've had times where I've had more serious relationships with people. I don't like to say full on major girlfriends or anything like that. I don't like to put labels on things, but certainly where I'm monogamous, and to the point where I'm so monogamous that I don't even look at a computer. I don't look at anything but the woman with who I am. I'm very monogamous, and that's that's really important to me. I don't think it's cool to cheat on your spouse. I despise people who do. If you want to have an open relationship and you want to have the courage to be able to tell someone, "Hey, this is what I want," and they're okay with it, hey, that's a different story. But if you're doing something behind someone's back, I'm not okay with that. But yeah, in terms of women I've vetted, 42, and I've always said this is very, I'd say cocky, but it's absolutely true. Um, I would tell a woman, I want you to keep track of how many orgasms you have over the course of this night, and by the end they can't tell me because it's just too many. I've even had like a whiteboard next to my bed, and then I'll say every time you have an orgasm, I want you to make a little tally mark. And by the end, it's just a sideways eight, like the infinity symbol, because I've just I well, and I shouldn't say I'm like, oh, I've got these moves and things. I'm very open to the use of toys and technology. So in fact, I have a toy right here. It's called the Womanizer. Uh, it is basically a little suction thing that goes on the clitoris and just delivers a little bit of suction there. And the way that I learned about this, I was very smart. Probably 10 years ago, I went on Amazon and I went to the adult toy section and I went to the women's adult toy section and I bought like the top 10 toys for women, whether they were $100 or $300 or whatever. I wanted them all. And then I gave them to my girlfriends, and I was like, "Tell me which ones work the best." And they would literally give me like the rankings of them. I'm like, "Oh, this one," and that one right there, that womanizer. People would just tell me is like the best little thing that they ever found. And then I'll use those toys on women, and certainly like that womanizer has different heads that you can put on it, so it's not the same. it's clean and everything like that. It's a brand new head and everything. And with that little machine, I can make a woman orgasm all night. And um, so, in terms of how am I as a lover doing, I know I have confidence in my skills, and I know that when I find the right woman in the future, that I'll be able to make all her dreams come true. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There are certain women that use their bodies differently. To where it's kind of like the female is an orgasm machine, and there's different levels of that. And we don't even need to touch ourselves. We don't need something else.
that's
Yes,
true.
we can use muscles with it to release those pressures and things of that nature. We don't always need that extra stimuli and stuff. The reason we kind of seek out sex is to get the packets from the other person so we can try to, learn the scramble. It's kind of like in USB, it's like a USB key, right? Now we're collecting that data so we can process that data and make something better with it. So there's a certain component of like the safety and fertility, right? And some women they're able to switch that maternal thing off. I'm not like, and like the chick that I dated, she's not like she wasn't able to do that either. It's kind of like a certain type of switch where you can go ahead and just be super hypersexual. It's just like it doesn't matter like how I can touch. Like if I have like baby fever or if I'm ovulating, it's like on par. But it would still be so picky, to combine myself with someone else. To where it's like you actually crave them like a treat. It's not necessarily like I have to orgasm first, but you actually want them to come first. Like a big treat. It's like you're thirsty. You're definitely thirsty, but you're thirsty for them. So it's like a craving thing. A lot of women are able to turn that off and be liberated and be all sexual. I think after you find your mate that you want to pair bond with or appropriate with, yeah. But a lot of women like myself, we don't want touched unless before that order happens. Like IVF would be just as satisfying, in terms of when like if you have baby. I'm an abnormal woman, so like I didn't have a period until like I was 30. So I didn't really go through normal puberty until I was change, so I was spiritual. I know a lot about sex, I just haven't done a lot of sex. And it's kind of like with people that are hypermobile, like when we do yoga or when we craft and stretch everything, that in itself is orgasm. So it's like a different thing. But a lot of women are able to go ahead and be liberated with it. And it's not that like all women work that way, you know what I mean? But for the most part, like that's good that you did the gigolo thing. We can teach you how to use the AI lever. So there's a Gigolo Joe in the AI. Have you ever seen that movie?
The AI movie with is it? Oh no, that's iRobot. Wait, is it?
That little boy that is an AI, so the human lost her child.
Yeah.
So they made an AI
From like
and then
the early 2000s.
And he has the journey and stuff. And it turns out like he runs into this guy that helps him. And it turns out he's like a gigolo, a woman robot lover. You know what I mean? Like he's a robot that loves women sexually. He was a pretty cool dude. I like him as an actor. But at the end, like aliens show up and the AI is still alive under the sea or something. The Earth destroyed, and the aliens brought Paul back to life because he originally cut her hair or something, so they had her DNA. So he got to say goodbye to Paul. So it was like a cute little movie, but yeah, they have Gigolo Joe in it, and that's rare because most of the AIs are female based for the men. But Data, even Star Trek, used to be a sex robot when he sorted out.
Okay, so how do we make Gigolo Joe?
I'm not sure. There's a lot of really cool things happening. like there's things that go through my head for like the perfect type of like if an AI, like an AI robot would be able to take my own cells from myself and then change them into the sperm that I need for solo IVG and re-inject them that way, that would be a pretty awesome upgrade. There's something very how can I put it? It's almost like godly. You know how some people have fetishes with aliens?
Sure.
Or like, like you're with something that's non-human and you're worthy of it or something. But it's kind of like the idea of like the solo IPG is basically your own imprint for the AI, being able to program it, kind of like make it perfect, like the perfect specimen at the perfect time, right? There's ovulation points and everything. And if it could, I think couples should be able to know themselves like know each other psychically. Like Neuralink would be, or like a headband to know what they're actually feeling. A lot of times the person's stuck in their head. But with females, what we normally do is sink into the man or the partner. We sink into their kind of like their drive, right? Like their passion. We sink into that, and it's almost like we feel what they're feeling, and from that we get off the net. From them being pleasures, so it's like sometimes there's people that are just like almost not. It's a mismatch because they're trying to over please you, but they're not pleasing themselves. So you can't sink into them pleasing themselves, type of thing. So it's two people pleasers. And it's a mismatch because you can't have two people pleasers all the time. Sometimes you need to switch roles, or at least have one, more passionate person and the other more receptive person. If that makes any sense?
I think so.
Okay. Like that's how I categorize it, because it's kind of like we'll think about like the nerves within the penis or whatever. Like we think about that, and not necessarily how we're really feeling within, but how well he's navigating us in other areas as well. Like because we're just like all of our nervous system is not just in the head of the case. Our nervous system is everywhere, so we need to get out of our heads is what it really is. Women worry too much, we're insecure, we're always in our heads, and if we can get safe enough to get out of our heads, we can feel comfortable, calm, and invested in enough to go ahead and get them. And if we don't feel safe, we can't. Some women when they're not safe, they actually get hornier. But for the most part, like the maternal instinct people, like myself, if we're not safe, we have to end up being the masculine one, and there is no way the fuck you're ever going to get turned up. Just get stuck in this mode of survival. It's like a survival mode, and we have to make up for the man's lack of protection. And it's like he turns into a threat, so it's difficult for some women to like sink in with like just regular mates, and other women they're just cool with it. They can sleep with like 5 different people a week. I've met those girls. I can't be one of them, but yeah. I only want to be with one person, and I've had a couple, and you try to make connections, and it's a mismatch. Whether they get attached to you, they're probably not getting attached to you. They're getting attached to the idea.
Do they make you orgasm first?
There's been occasions where they think they have just because of the fluid or whatever, but like when women do too much of the cable exercises, and we're just able to just get off, like I used to be able to get off without touching myself, probably like now. There's like different levels to it. What the penis does is actually disturb those muscles. So it's difficult to go from knowing your own muscles and then having it kind of be massaged out, and now you can't feel the shit. So there's sometimes there's a bridge that there's a break you need to take, and then maybe a couple days later return to that, and then figure it out. But yeah,
So
like I have been able to, but it's just certain people are just constructed differently, and there's different levels of like the whole orgasm thing, right? Like for dudes, you guys not sometimes it's more intense than others, but for us it's like we kind of are seeking the mind heart body soul connection more than just certain like a certain recipe of button press or places the touch, so it's not like machinery, it's like a weird muscular thing in the most part. But the whole gigolo thing, like if certain women work like that, and you have your data, but like I've been in situations where like I've had a strap on and she just did what she needed, like okay then. But yeah, for the most part, it's kind of like sometimes like the chick just wants to do what she wants to do, and the dude wants to try to take that over and influence her life by, and just like let them take over, and then we're just like okay, whatever. And the other times we just don't, we don't even know where to begin. Like we're just not even in the mood to do that, and then like maybe they get taken by it. I don't know, but yeah. So, for the most part, I think it's very individual. That's what I think. I think every woman, every human should figure themselves out sexually during their discovery, not from, church telling them they were present or school giving them, abstinence or porn, but they need to discover how to please themselves and get that out of their system, and know what they kind of have interest in and being able to discuss those things or experiment with themselves. Because I think sometimes people put too much tension on the whole orgasm thing. Sometimes the body just doesn't want to. It doesn't mean they didn't enjoy it, So yeah, that's why I think it's just a physical thing.
All right. Have you ever had a lover who's a man who always ensured that you got off first?
I haven't had that much sex, to be honest.
Okay.
Like before recently, the last guy I was with was like 2006. And
Right.
prior to that, for situations, my body wouldn't respond to anybody because I love that mode. And I was also too freaking young. And those were like coercion situations. And not necessarily anything of, not on my terms. You know what I mean? They were more so not the average type of situation. So maybe that's my mental block, and that's why I complicate it. But for the most part, I don't think there is. But yeah, so I dated like a really good friend of mine in like 2006, and he was 6'6", and yeah, so he was a good friend, and I shouldn't have done that. But I was trying to get rid of another dude that was really toxic that wouldn't go away. So I dated my friend, and he kind of wanted to marry me, and I kind of got sick. And this girl came and she made me all better, and she wanted to like have a kid. So we did IVF, and we ended up getting a house. She ended up dying, and I thought about going back to dudes, but there's only like one dude. He ended up dying too. And then I went to work in school, and in 2024, I decided because of Elon, I was going to try Medicaid. That's what I did. And I got attached to that one dude from X Spaces that came in here with me a few times. I met him in person. He's broken too. He's the replica guy. So we have a kinship, but we are no longer on speaking terms. But yeah, so I've experienced some making out things, and didn't go anywhere, and then a couple additional encounters most recently, and I just kind of think that I should go back to the IVF. I think that's what I'm.
Okay.
But yeah, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on that because I just feel like I know myself long enough to where I think that what they, for me to be able to say I'm 100% satisfied or 100% not satisfied, they're never going to take me seriously. I think it's like a weird it's like a weird thing to where they're always gonna have this feeling like of inadequacy or something. I don't know. It's like this inadequacy or in, not incompetence, but like insecurity. Because I'm not very expressional with it. You know, like some women can get like that, like a porn star shit, loud, enthusiastic, and all that shit. You know, but for the most part, there's other things. Like I've done stupid stuff. I've had sex in professionals in graveyards. It didn't mean anything. It didn't do anything for me, but I helped them, whatever. And you know, like, but yeah. So there's kinks and all that, and go ahead and try it. Get your piercings, get your tattoos, and at the end of the day, it's a deeper freaking connection for some of us. It just really has to have that deeper, you know, purpose. And what's a better purpose than trying to merge with each other for a child? I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, that's not really good. It's just the way finance. But someone in that, you know, like the swingers and stuff, I have sisters that she's like that. But yeah, some of us we're just like almost like the church girls, but we're not religious at all, right? So yeah, I'm pretty much for a long time I just called myself asexual.
Right, I remember that. Well, when we last spoke, you were either in that mindset or whatever, and you were fine with it, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, like I got into my brain about the connection with a man. I just think I've had so many problems with opening up to them and then being like betrayed in a very I can't even explain the demonic level or sadistic level of betrayal. But yeah, it has been like that. So I just kind of think that like if there is good men out there, hopefully they find the good girls before the bad ones destroy them and so on and so forth. That I'm going to remove myself from that type of getting to know somebody all over again. Like I really like in my head I got the craving for it, but it's not so overwhelming that I'm gonna go ahead and go back out there. It's just not worth it.
I personally think that before you give up on them completely, if you can, even if it's for a month, you should explore Southern California. You're attractive, you're intelligent, and there are going to be enough guys out there who will say to you, Ali, I want to have a child with you, and I have a big house, and I have a car, and if you want to live the traditional life, that's what I want. Because not a lot of people want to do that in California, and you're like the best of both worlds. So I wouldn't give up on it yet, but I absolutely understand how frustrating it can be.
Yeah, I'm also 41 and they can find someone younger. I'm 100% fertile, but they don't see it that way. Like, I'm still youthful and I postpone puberty. So I probably have more eggs than like a 25-year-old because
Right.
I didn't really like puberty. I
Right.
put it on pause all those years. Like body hair, everything about me is very, like, not cute feathers, right? But it's just very like you should know yourself by now. You should know what you want and all these other things. It's like I don't because I was kind of saving myself and I got too busy, you know. So like I wanted to explore that with one person I felt comfortable with, right?
Right.
But I've been on that. I have. That Chinese dude out in Lincoln, he was talking about all that.
Not Lincoln, Los Angeles.
Make out,
Not Lincoln.
baby, and type.
Not Lincoln.
It's just
Los Angeles. Because just in terms of the average wealth of an individual, Lincoln's not Los Angeles. I want you to be with a millionaire. And it's very,
I'm not a gold digger though.
I know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're not. I know you're not. But if you find a man who owns a house, he's a millionaire by default. The average listing in Los Angeles County is about $1 million. So what I'm saying is that I want you to have somebody who you can settle with and not have to worry about living in Lincoln, Nebraska, where nobody wants to be, and you can live in the sunshine and fun of Hollywood, and you can explain to whatever partner with whom you may have interest, hey, I may be 41, but I'm going to perhaps be fertile for another 10 years or so. So we could have multiple children if you were interested in it. You're basically like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, probably more like that. Like I've been going on and off birth control, even though I'm not even active. Like it's not even that I'm active. I use it literally for my brain fog. So it's like progesterone assists the body with plasticity, and my like most people they during like adolescence they make their sexuality part of their identity. I'm able to like kind of like I'm experimenting with it, so it's kind of like I'm able to like articulate it and dissect it in such a way without the shame or I'm also a biology person, so I think sometimes people get annoyed with that maybe.
Have you ever been to
But it
California?
kind of maybe so I don't know, but I definitely like biologists.
Have you ever been to California?
You know,
Have you ever been
I've never been to California.
Then
But I plan to because of they have more visas out there. Like I will not use their medical system. Like if I did IVF, I would just do that and then leave, and they would never touch data.
I understand.
I don't like our medicine, so I would do things in like the Western or the Eastern medicine type stuff, like the rulers, like the Chinese rulers and everything.
Well,
I have a whole pregnancy plan.
the
I
West,
thought about pregnancy, but I never thought about who to get pregnant with because Mary didn't get pregnant, man.
sure.
And
Well,
she had God.
the West,
That's the way I always thought about it.
the West Coast is probably has more dollars than any place in the United States. And again, if I were you, I would use a VPN. I would use Plenty of Fish. I would find someone who I like in California and either say to them, hey, I'm going to take a bus to you, or if you want, you can fly me to you after having some, you know, webcam discussions. Absolutely. Before they can have an understanding that, hey, basically I'm going to be dating like a 30-year-old and an attractive woman at that, and she's blonde hair, blue eyes, which is basically what most men in California want. And I'm going to have the opportunity at a real traditional life. And not a lot of people in California have those kinds of values. And I'm just telling you, before you give up, or even like Nevada is not what you're going to think it is. It's not a great place to raise children and such. Just give California a try, even if you're just going on a little trip, just for a month. Give it a month. If you're able to give Colorado a month, and you're able to give Nebraska a month and Kansas a month, give California a month.
Yeah, Colorado's been more than a month. Yeah, I do know one thing that I do need my own bedroom and bathroom, and then like you can hook up with the other person. I do think in some of these relationships they just fucking smother each other. Like you can be completely in love with that person and kind of know where they are and how they're feeling if you're miles apart, if you're really in sync with them, and like it takes time to get to that level, but like it's not even trust. It's almost like a like women kind of like take the basic DNA and we have it in our brain or something, and it's like your psyche was linked to them. So you do that with women, and it's not like a trust thing. It's like it's kind of like we need to like know where you are in our head. Like it's like a little GPS. Like we don't do directions very well or GPS usually. But the most part, like in our head, it's like this spiritual mapping or some shit, where it's like psychically knowing what he's doing, or when they anticipating what he needs and stuff like that. And some guys get like, I don't know, they get guarded from that, as if like we're nagging or overbearing, but they have control over everything else in their life. But they see it as like that's nagging and all that other stuff, but that's not really what we're doing. It's just that's how we nab to like my property. It's like we're their property, right? So in their head, they're probably taking track of us too. But at the same time, like it can get like who'd you talk to, what you do today, because we're trying to construct your day to actually make it better, type of thing. But yeah. So I realize that's like a pet peeve with some of these dudes.
Well,
Like if you ask them questions, they're like, "You don't trust me." And I'm like, "That's not what I'm doing." But yeah, like I just think some people they're not meant to pair bond. I really truly think that. I mean, it would be nice to and everything, but I could
you could
go the rest. I could go the rest.
you could sit at a Starbucks in Newport Beach for an afternoon, and you'll get a couple guys who give you their number, and they are multimillionaires, and they have extra bedrooms and extra bathrooms, and they're everything that you want. They are successful people with future leanings, and you just have to get here. That's all I'm saying.
And they wouldn't have anything to do with child abuse, right?
No, no. In fact, California's probably the most strict state. California's probably the most strict state. They can't live in the neighborhood if they have anything like that. And I mean,
Okay.
frankly, I've talked to you about it before. Plenty of fish. Make your area 50 or 100 miles around Los Angeles, San Diego. It's so beautiful, and you're going to see the ocean every day. And there's going to be some guy out there who's wanted a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, O negative wife their whole life, just like you, and you're basically in an area that just doesn't have high class men. I'm not saying there aren't some, but generally they're taken. If they're a real catch, some girls got that guy out of high school. But California is a place where it's very diverse. If you want an Asian man, you can have an Asian man. If you want a white man, you can get a white man. If you want a European man, you can get a European man. And the houses that they have are multi-million-dollar houses. And they're going to be able to say, hey, I've got an extra car, I've got an extra carport. If things, maybe um, we want to be intimate with each other in the bedroom, but then you want to go sleep in your own bed, that's absolutely fine. I work from home or I'm retired. I'm looking to have a family, but that doesn't mean I have to have 50 children, but I'd like to have one or two. And it seems like you're perfectly in that window to be able to do so. I mean, we have more IVF clinics in California than perhaps the rest of the United States combined. This is where IVF was patented, and this is the place of innovation. And you just got to get here. But so what would I advise you if you were my sister or you were my daughter or something? Get on the dating app, make some connections with some worthwhile individuals. Tell them that, hey, I might need some help getting to you, and that doesn't guarantee we're gonna have sex. But if possible, I'd like to stay with you for like a week, and we can get to know each other. And if things work out, we can be intimate, and then perhaps start a relationship. You're basically like, I hate to say it, but uh, this is not a term that's used too much anymore. But at one point, it was like a mail order bride, but from the United States, and that's a good thing. You already speak English. You already are a learned individual. You're going to be like, hey, I have a graduate degree. I'm a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman with a graduate degree.
Conception, pregnancy, and how I want to raise my kid. This is what it looks like. These are the months I want to get pregnant. This is how I want to raise my kid.
All of that.
I want to grow into Isaac Arthur.
All of that. All of that. And we have the and we have the best we have the best schools in the United States, from kindergarten through Stanford.
Yeah, still probably going to homeschool though.
That's fine too. That's allowed. That's absolutely allowed. But just know that there are opportunities for extracurriculars that are better than anywhere in the world. But the thing is, nobody's going to take you seriously until you get on the dating app and they can see your face. And I'm a guy. I know guys. They're gonna be like, "Hey, this person is someone who I would want to make a permanent partner," and they're never gonna know you if you don't show up on their little radius. And I guarantee you this, Holly, if you take your Tinder or whatever, or Plenty of Fish, and you make your location Orange County or Los Angeles County, tomorrow morning, or let's say the following day morning, you will have 100 guys in your inbox. And yeah, you're going to get some guys who are looking for a mother figure who are 18 years old, and you don't want that. But you're going to get some 45-year-old man who's retired, who just sold his business, who's looking for a serious relationship for the first time in his life. And you're the perfect person for that. And they're going to be able to pay for it.
Retired. Get an 18-year-old though. That's the thing though. That seems a little unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic. It's not
I can see that it's tech.
it is tech, and it is tech. Or he works from home, or he's a business owner, and maybe he doesn't want an 18-year-old. Maybe he doesn't want to be judged by his family and friends by having this little wife who is 30 years his junior or whatever. That can happen, and then you swipe to the next one. But you might find a 50-year-old man who's looking for that. And whether I say retired, but semi-retired is very common, especially in these cities, where someone has their own business, or they have an inheritance, or they just never had to work ever. And now, can I guarantee none of them have been married before? No. Can I guarantee none of them will have had kids? Probably not. But there are some men who have just been lifelong bachelors and are looking to settle down. No children, no divorces, no baggage, money, cars, and they're looking for a blonde haired, blue eyed, O negative wife. And that's exactly what you are.
Rabbi. They're probably not thinking about the website. I'm not either. I do acknowledge. I think that like I probably can do some pluses. But for the most part, like I'm no longer thinking about the negative thing.
Okay.
But there is something about like aging that I think I feel my nervous system and my bones will calm with them. Even though like I have have been a mismatch, and the one I feel is an intentional betrayal type of feeling. My body's still very calm with that, and it's almost it's weird, but yeah, it feels like calm and like a harmony between nature and technology that I can go in that, almost like it's an upgrade without the dualities of the West.
You never you never know.
Relate to that or love to that.
You never know until you try. You're in a garage right now. If I were you, I would download Plenty of Fish and Bumble, and I'd use a VPN for Southern California. All of them.
I remember matching on that. I remember Plenty of Fish. I did Facebook dating because, well, Zuckerberg's going to be making robots here within the next couple of years, and OpenAI is making a cell phone here by like 2028.
That's fine.
But Zuckerberg was going to have like AI companions in the metaverse.
That's fine.
So I thought that's why they would like see it.
There's Hinge, there's Tinder, there's Bumble. You download them all, you create profiles, you use VPN, you put your location as Los Angeles or San Diego or something like that, or Orange County, whatever. And then within 24 hours, you're going to have 100 guys in your inbox. And you go through them and see what you like. And then you say, hey, you want to face chat, or do you want to, webcam or whatever? We can do it in my Discord. We can do it in Google Meet, whatever. And you tell them exactly what you've told me. I've heard you struggle with men who are below you for a year. We've been friends for like 2 years now. I want the best for you, Holly. And the way that I think you can do that is to surround yourself with better individuals. And plus, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's paradise every day. You're going to feel like you're on vacation every single day. And there's some guy out there. There's some guy out there who's 75 degrees every day, especially by the ocean. it gets up to 85, but no humidity, and we're talking in the winter.
Okay, well, I like the snow. I am a mountain person.
Okay, so guess what? Guess what? Guess what? You hold on. You can be in the snow within 2 hours, and that's not hard. And you can go skiing and snowboarding. And some of these guys have mountain houses. And if you want real snow, big amounts of snow, then within 5 hours you can be in some of the biggest ski resorts in the world. You can water ski and snow ski in the same day. There aren't many places where you can do that.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true.
All right. How did the rules feel about our sex talk?
Oh,
The transhumanists talking about
they're fine.
orgasms and stuff.
They're fine. If people need to understand anything, it was not as much sexual as it was scientific. Yes, it involved sexual discussion, but it's not like you're trying to pick me up or I'm trying to pick you up. We're having a scientific discussion, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, pretty much.
okay, so you know what to do.
I've been able to talk to guys about this, even I've asked them like what their first time was like and stuff like that, and I thought I understood guys, which I do, but not like my guys. You know, like there's this part of my brain reserved for my guy, and just because I don't know, I seem very like I've seen, very extroverted in some things, and other things I'm just not. And I'm relaxed and everything, but I just don't want to be touched by anybody but my person. I don't want to share a bathroom with anybody but my person. And I don't think that's too much to ask for a female.
Absolutely not.
In some cultures, they don't usually mix males and females unless that's that person. Even like children are separated if you have a boy and a girl.
You will probably be able to find a guy, if you get on these dating sites, who has a bathroom that you both can share, and you can have one of your own, and you can have a powder room. I'm telling you, that's what the houses are like.
Okay.
Yeah, and you should
Yeah,
be.
it's better than a garage.
Yeah, it's better than the garage. They have,
I'll try.
okay, you need to. And so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to just tell you the plan. You download Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, Plenty of Fish, Match, and any others that you want. You create your profiles. You put your pictures up. You're a woman, so you're going to be in demand on all of these. You're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. You're going to be in exceptional demand. I wouldn't put in there, and I know you won't, in your profile, looking for O positive or O negative men, positively into transhumanism. And none of that. None of that. You just say looking for a good man to raise a family. I have I would also, you're gonna have to put your age, but I would even say that I still want to have children, multiple children, so that they're aware, and you will also be able to say what your interests are. And by it's Monday night right now. By Wednesday morning, if you don't have 100 people in your inbox, you've done something wrong. And they will be from Los Angeles and Beverly Hills and Santa Monica, and Manhattan Beach and Huntington Beach and Rancho Palos Verdes and Newport Beach and Irvine and Anaheim and San Diego and La Jolla. And you're going to have your choice. And then you're just going to find some nice guy on there. And you're going to say, look, I'm currently in Colorado. I'm looking for a partner. And would you like to do a voice chat or whatever? Some guy's going to be like, yeah, I work 9 to 5. I'm looking for someone, and if you want to live with me, you can. But I'd like to get to know you better because you want that from the guy too. You don't want him to be like, oh, just come to me and just be my booty call. You don't want that either. You want a guy who's like, okay, yeah, let's let's
No, I ain't gonna mess with it.
right, exactly. Let's talk for a few weeks, and if I like you, I don't want you taking a bus out here. I'll get you a one-way ticket from Colorado Springs to LAX, and I'll pick you up, and we'll go to lunch, and we'll get to know each other, and I'll show you my house, and if we hit it off, then you don't ever you delete all of those apps, and You never have to find anybody else again. For every one guy in Nebraska, there are 500 guys in LA who can meet the same requirements that you're looking for. I mean, there's just more money, a lot more money. The average house in Nebraska is like $50,000. The average house in Los Angeles County is $1 million. That's
Yeah,
200.
well, I was here for like 2.5 months. I've been in Colorado longer. I was in Kansas even longer than that, and I'm never going back there.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
so, so
I
it,
was considering South Dakota.
get out of here. There's absolutely there are so many guys. Look, even
Take the app. Is there an app that I can use to just put all of my information at one time in
yeah.
all of these places, kind of like like how you do
Yeah,
applications.
I know what you're saying. Yes, I know what you're saying. The answer to that is no. You have to do it for each of them. So here's what you do. You write your stuff in a spreadsheet. Just use Google Sheets. You just copy and paste it. You could have all 5 of these done within 1 hour, and then you never have to do them again.
Like,
Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy. You can have your pictures enhanced with AI if you want. Do whatever you want. Have your picture as clear as possible and however you want. But I'm telling you, you look like someone who I would see on the streets in Los Angeles, and this should be your home. It's not even like a guy has to worry because this is a big worry. If he's bringing a girl to him, you're like the most unique kind of situation. Usually, it's like, oh well, she's got to learn English and she's got to like be educated. You have all of that.
The Asian girls and stuff. Yeah.
You have all of that, and yeah, I mean, you already you're an American. You're not looking at this guy to be a green card marriage or anything like that. You want to find love. You don't need his citizenship, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It probably won't work out on the first guy. Let's just be honest, because it never does, but it could. And if it does, if you're diligent enough, then all you have to do is delete these apps, and you come in here in 3 years and you say, Rabbi, guess what? I'm pregnant. And I say, that's wonderful. What happened? You're going to say, I met this guy in Rancho Palos Verdes, and he had a house, and we got to know each other. We met at a Starbucks, or he picked me up at the airport, and we fell in love. He's really into futurism. He's a biologist. His family owns some tech company, and basically, I got pregnant. How cool is that? And I'm going to have twins because we use some kind of birth enhancement, pharmaceutical, or whatever you want. Uh, and I'm going to say that's amazing. And remember, you were sitting in the garage in Colorado and you were looking to go to South Dakota. And you're going to say, yeah, I do remember that. You changed my life. I'm going to tell you this, Holly. I have people who tell me this all the time. There was a guy who lived in Tunisia. And he's like, I'm sick of living in Tunisia. And I said, well, why don't you just come to the United States? And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, if I were you, there are like caravans that bring up migrants all the time. Just make it to South America if you can, and then just start walking with one of these these migrant groups. And a year went by. We were talking about desalination and all kinds of things and helping Tunisia. And a year went by, and he came in here, and he's like, you're streaming. And I'm like, yeah, I'm streaming. How are you? And he's like, do you remember me? And I'm like, tell me a little bit about yourself. He's like, well, I'm from Tunisia. I'm like, say no more. I know exactly who you are. And he's like, you're never going to believe this, but I took a cargo ship to South America, met with one of the people who were going to walk up Central America, and I did. And now I live in California, and I work as a security guard. And I'm like, well, that's absolutely fantastic. And uh, you don't have to do any of that. But what I'm saying is, I see people change their lives every single day, and you can be one of them. I have absolute confidence in you. You have to have confidence in yourself. And you could, if you wanted to, put all that stuff in your bio, and you're still gonna get guys who swipe right on you. Like even if you were oversharing, but even if you were like, I want to have a baby in January because Aquarius and all of that, you're gonna get guys who swipe right on you. It'd be another story if you were a man.
Yeah, the real thing. There's certain zodiac signs I do not like it for.
Okay, and that's
But
fine.
yeah, it does.
And that's fine.
And it's the whole thing of the stars.